Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a Q&A style based on questions that we've gotten from you in our comments, and also questions that we've gotten from friends, family, neighbors, etc. And it's also going to be an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about us. If you've been watching our videos at all, you might have some questions by now. And if you have any more, please drop them in the comments below, and we hope to kind of do one of these as often as questions pile up. So by all means, please let us know. So more about us. My name is Nick. This is my beautiful wife, Mary. We live in northern Wisconsin on an almost 9-acre property. We've got a fairly major river that borders our property to the north, and then we are actually 40 acres back from our main road. So we have an easement going through that 40, and we're set back quite a bit. So we've got woods all the way around us. It's awesome. We love it. When we bought the property, it came with a small log cabin. Dimensions are 15 by 30, so that's 450 square feet. It's pretty small, and then it also has a loft area, which is roughly another third of that square footage. So I think it works out to about 600-ish square feet of living space. So it's been quite the adjustment. We moved from a city in southern Wisconsin. We were living in, a 1,800 square foot house with a 2-car garage, and we had stuff in every corner of that place. So we downsized a lot to make this move, and we're hoping that some other people can learn from us. And if those are who inspired to do this, hopefully can learn something from us. So what else do we do on this property? Honey, what else do we do here?
We grow as much of our own food as possible. So our main goal is to be as self-reliant as we can be, growing organic, free-range animals, having as much organic vegetables and fruits and trees and berries, anything you can think of to grow. I'm into growing it. And then taking what we grow here and growing multiple of those plants, and then going and putting them out into our woods to create a kind of like a food forest, wooded area as well. So it's kind of like a long-term plan, but it's much of our self-reliance as we can get.
Exactly, that's what we do. So included in that is, and coincidentally, probably the most common question that we get is about our utilities, which to me includes kind of 3 different categories: electric, heat, and plumbing. So first, electric. There was no electric pulled to this property when we bought it, and there is still no electric pulled to this property now that we've been here over a year. What we opted to do instead was put in a sizable solar system. So we've got about 10 panels. We can produce about 3.65 kilowatt hours in full sun. We'll throw some shots up now of our system. And we're completely off the grid. It's not connected to anything. The system is even Wi-Fi enabled, and we haven't even hooked it up to our Wi-Fi because we just don't want to be connected in any way whatsoever. And it works great. We love it.
Yeah, and something to say about that is that it was actually cheaper for us to buy and install our own solar system than it was to have the utility company come and run power out to our land. So it was going to cost us about $25,000 to get power here, and we spent probably roughly $13,000 to buy and install what we have. So, and then plus we get tax kickbacks and whatnot to bring that cost down. So overall, it was a pretty smart financial decision for us, as well as it went right along with our goal of just like being as reliant as we can on ourselves rather than outside sources.
Exactly. And do we get enough power from our system in the winter? No, frankly we don't. We have to run a generator a bit depending on the sun.
In certain months.
I mean, we've only been up here one winter, and we went a 30-day stretch where there were only 2 days with any sun. So I feel like this last winter was a bit of an anomaly, but we still know it's a bit undersized, and that's fine. We're fine running a generator. They're super efficient on gas. it's just part of the gig up here. So
Yeah.
as long as it's warm enough for the generators to start, which we've had our struggles there too, which we're going to tell you all about along the way here. So moving on then, heat. We burn wood. We have a potbelly stove in the house, and that's what we use for our utility room downstairs. We will use a small propane heater, LP gas, to heat that, and that's really about all we have for heating needs right now. We do have the high tunnel behind us, which we house our chickens in for the winter, which acts as a heater with solar energy, greenhouse effect, etc., etc. That stayed actually very warm throughout the winter, so we were very thankful to have that. Anything you want to add on heat?
I guess overall, my just remarks on heat. Wood heat is a completely different type of heat, and I like it more than a gas furnace. Growing up, I mean, in the winter, it was always, you were just cold, you know, from time to time throughout the day, but living in this smaller square footage with a wood stove right there, it was wonderful. We had it was 75 degrees was cold. So
Yeah.
it's a completely different way of thinking about, like, oh, how warm is your house? A lot of times it was 80 in there, but very comfortable, not like a hot, sticky 80. It was just like a comfortable, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt when it's 15 to 0 degrees outside, and I'm in the house very comfortable. So
Yeah, it's the stove we've got, which we'll throw a shout on that up too, is plenty it's oversized for our house.
yeah.
So in terms of wood consumption, I think we went through about 4 full cords this year. So we're gonna have to gather firewood every year. It's just part of the deal, and you just work that into your program, and it's not going to be a big deal for us. And we've got some really awesome help. Thank you, Ralph. We appreciate that this
And
year.
Dave.
So and Dave, yeah, we've got some awesome people helping us out on that front, and others, which we couldn't be more thankful for. So thank you. And then lastly, plumbing. So when we bought the property, there was a well drilled here. It's about 140 feet deep. But for some reason, they did not install a pump or plumb the well in any way, shape, or form. So, nor run any kinds of water lines or obviously electrical, because there was no electrical here. So we basically did all of that. We installed a well pump. We had a pitless adapter installed. That was about the only thing that we hired out for this last year.
And drilling the water lines in the ground.
And yes, and boring the water lines. Other than that, we did everything ourselves. So we'll throw some shots up now of both our utility room, which is underneath the house, which houses our water tank and kind of the filters and kind of the waterworks. And then also the on-demand water heater that we put in, which we've been thrilled with. We can have all 3 water appliances on at the same time on full blast, and the thing is kicking out plenty of heat. So I wasn't quite sure how that would work out, but it's been great, and it sips gas. It doesn't use nearly as much as I would have thought. Also, fairly easy installation. Can't say enough good things about that. So a couple other things I just wanted to mention on the electric. People have asked if we consider putting 12 volt appliances in the house. We have all 120 volt stuff in the house. In terms of electric, our range and oven are both LP. Yes, we did consider it. Not major issue, but a problem with it is that our system runs on 48 volts, and there are 48 volt appliances out there, but most of them run on 12 or 24. You can put a box in to convert it. You're gonna lose power in that conversion anyways. The appliances are more expensive. It just didn't make sense. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There probably are applications to where it would make sense, possibly with a shop type setup. You could maybe run some fans or lights or something off of that. It would be more efficient, but for us, it just didn't make sense. So, anything you want to add to that?
Well, also because then we'd have different wiring going to different appliances throughout
Yeah,
the house.
that
We'd have
too.
both AC and DC going to like different plugs and whatnot, and it just would make things a lot more confusing. So we were able to purchase DC appliances and then not have to worry about plugging the wrong thing into the wrong outlet, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the next big projects coming up is running the actual electrical in the house. And so one thing that we did do to kind of help compensate is we're going to run all 12 gauge wire through the house to help with power loss. But our panels are about 150 to 200 feet away from our power wall, so we've got a loss there, but honestly we've got plenty of power to overcome that. It's not even an issue. I don't think if we had the panels on the roof, I don't think it would make that big of a difference.
We would get way less power if the panels were on the roof.
And it would heat up the house, and
and that's
it's just
something
not a good idea.
we thought about. We thought, should we wait to make a large solar install, like array, until if we were to build a garage or something? If we had installed the panels on top of a building, we would get less power, I think, overall, because we wouldn't have access to the panels to wipe them off in the winter or to scrape them, because I mean, ice does get on them if it's the correct conditions, and maintenance of the panels is super easy because we can walk right underneath it and check them out and make sure everything's good. We don't have to go up on top of a roof to do that.
Yes, exactly. Far safer and easier to work on, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. How far are we from the closest hardware store? We're 10 to 15 minutes actually, and it's a pretty good little local hardware store. Expensive, but you know, they have what you need in a pinch. Big box, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
In a couple different directions. So, all right. So when we were looking for this place, how did we find this place?
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yep. It wasn't even listed with a realtor. I think that the owner had it on Facebook and Craigslist. He had been trying to sell it for a while, but it was kind of parceled out differently, and it'd been up for a month, I think, when I actually found it. But the listing said, it had pictures of the cabin and then said no utilities included. Like off-grid, no utilities. And that was one of the things that made me click on it and really look into it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Who knew? We'll throw some pictures up of the raw land. It looked a lot different.
Yeah. Finding properties like this, you will find them in the weirdest spots. If you're trying to work with a realtor, they'll have some listings, but they'll be expensive. And if you're gonna be scrappy and find the ones that are like super unique, you gotta be scrappy yourself and like look everywhere. I mean, we were looking for over a year at different properties and locations all around Wisconsin, and then I finally just started focusing on Craigslist and the weird ones mainly.
Yeah, exactly. And so when we were in the city, we were looking to move away from the city. That's all we knew when we first started, and we kept just kind of branching out further and further away with Mary's job situation and kind of things that were going on with my business in Madison. We wanted to stay within arm's reach, but that didn't end up happening. We're about four hours away. But piece of advice I would give people, one issue that we kept running into was zoning problems with raising animals and animal counts, and I mean, obviously HOAs, if there's an HOA involved, you're going to have very big issues doing anything like what we're doing here. So anyway, to sum it up, one small piece of advice I would say is follow the Amish. We have Amish all around us. The zoning restrictions on any of this stuff, anything that we're doing out here, are so much more lax and simpler, and they just allow you to do what you want to do in a more cohesive fashion with being self-reliant. So follow the Amish. That would, I remember like back in the day when we were talking about like starting this YouTube channel, I'm like, that's what I'm going to tell people, follow the Amish. And so prophecy fulfilled.
And it's not to say that it's because of the Amish that they have more lax regulations, but it's more that the Amish find the lax regulations, and where they're kind of clumped in where they're located, if you go to that area, you're like, okay, well, in this county, you know that. It's just a hint when you're looking for places.
Exactly. So, that, I guess we could segue that into why we're on YouTube. Why are we doing this, honey? Why are we out in our yard with a camera pointed at us, talking to it right now?
It's a funny thing, because when we first moved out here, we wanted to be as off-grid, as, private and kind of just us for as long as we could. And then the more we started doing these projects, we realized that we were doing the things that we watched other people do, and we were having struggles and we were having victories, and we wanted other people to be able to experience that with us and learn from it. And we wanted to start conversations about what we're doing. We wanted to show people the experiences we're having, to be able to teach and just show that a lifestyle like this is possible, it's comfortable, and it's fun, frankly. There's ups and downs, but it's super enjoyable. Like, there's so many rewarding moments throughout every single day that all make it really, really worthwhile overall.
Definitely, and I would add that we hope that there's a bunch of YouTubers out there that we watch. We learned a lot, so much from YouTube. We didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff 5 to 6 years ago. Anything that we're doing.
Yeah.
Mary knew a lot, but she learned a ton more on YouTube. And we'll throw some links up in the description of channels that we love, and people that have taught us a lot. And anyway, so we're hoping that we can help inspire somebody to do what we're doing, because it is so rewarding and fulfilling and fun. It's awesome. And it's I have to say, all of this would suck, and it would not be nearly as much fun without a phenomenal partner. And
agreed.
My best friend. So now I guess that kind of leads into a little bit more about us. We got married last September. This is June 10th, 2023. We got married September 2022. So that's also the summer that we left the city and moved up here. So the way that timing worked out is we moved up here officially on June 1st, 2022, and we got married 3.5 months later, while building a farm, getting utilities to the house,
moving,
etc., etc. It was crazy year. So with that, we had a whole bunch of unforeseen challenges that I think we should talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest one for me was that one piece of equipment that we did have that I was very excited about was my truck. I had a good, solid Chevy truck, and the engine died in March of last year. It took 8 months to get a new engine put in it.
So that means all last summer we had no truck. We had no four-wheel drive vehicle.
We did have my dad, thank you for letting us use your truck for probably a month or more.
Yeah. But our own personal vehicle. We didn't have a trailer. We actually moved, and both of our cars were in the shop.
That's true.
So my car, the rear bearings went out on it a couple months after I had them replaced, and so we made the move with a U-Haul truck and Nick's dad's truck. So it just happened that weekend that both our vehicles were in the shop when we had to move out, because that was the timing of everything. So vehicle-wise, that was probably one of the largest challenges that we had last year. So not having Nick's truck last year versus now having it this year, day and night difference with being able to get lumber and go pick things up on Craigslist, move things around, haul stuff around the property. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that was a main one. Also, just the financial pressure on costs of everything.
Yeah.
It has tripled since we originally put numbers together to do this back in 2020. It's been tough. We've been able to do about a third of what we wanted to do, but we're scrappy. We're gonna be fine. So I guess that we could talk more about what we do and how we make ends meet here. So probably the biggest, obviously, with any budgetary situation, you've got income, expenses, and then hopefully you've got something left over at the end, right? It's that simple. We see it that way anyway. What we've done is by moving and up here, becoming living more simply and just buying less. Basically, we brought our living expenses to down so small that it doesn't take much for us to keep our heads above water. And that's kind of been the working theory with all of this. We still need income, and we still have income. So,
but we have significantly less. And it's not saying that we're missing out on a bunch of things. It's more just a different way of thinking. Like, we are here to live here on our land and to experience and grow and do things here, rather than trying to always leave and go to restaurants and, you know, do all the like big social events. We're just living together more, making our own fun.
Yeah, definitely, and living out here. That's, if you're bored, it's your own fault.
Yeah,
There's plenty to do, both work and fun wise. So what else do we have here? What did our family and friends say about this? What do they still say about all this?
I think a lot of people thought that we were joking.
Sorry, Kitty.
Or they couldn't believe that we were actually going to be moving hours away from everyone we knew, living off grid, and going to buy a bunch of animals and start a farm or a homestead. And I think some people, a lot more of our friends and family understand it now, since they've been here and we've been here for a while. But I think some people still think that we're a little bit just crazy.
Yeah, if there's anything I've learned, it's that if people aren't telling you you're crazy, you're probably doing things wrong. Maybe not wrong, but just you're not living life to the
You're not pushing your boundaries.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of something that with both of our personalities, we've always been people that have done things differently, like done it ourselves, or pushed to do something that's just a little bit crazier than everyone else that we know. And then this being one of them.
Yeah, and we've always, just touching on another thing about this life, we both always loved camping, and it's kind of like we're on a permanent camping trip, but with like really nice stuff. You know, all the comforts of home. When we have people come up and they're asking questions, you know, can we do this? Can we do that? And like, yeah, it's a normal house. Everything's normal, other than a flushing toilet. That's all that's different. And I mean, how much time do you spend on a toilet anyways in a day?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So anyways, it's good and we love it. Would we do it all again? Yes, 1,000%, no questions. Even I double all the challenges and crap we had going on last year. I would still do it because things make sense up here.
Yeah.
Things make sense in this life.
And now we're to a point where we're comfortable. We can take time off and have a nice family fire and hang out with the chickens for a couple of hours, lay in the grass and play with the kittens for a while. You know, we don't have all these like high pressure, time sensitive things going on all the time. That it just makes the life so much more relaxing, and fulfilling. And I mean, we put pressure on ourselves now. So I guess that's another thing that, along with this lifestyle, instead of you working for someone else and your time being dedicated to work for someone else, now we switched that and we're working for ourselves. So we keep ourselves motivated during the day. We take time off if we need it. We sleep more if we need it. We, if we're sick, less gets done, but we make up for it later on. So it's a change in kind of your outlook on how things happen. Instead of being pushed by your job to do things, you're pushing yourselves, or like we push each other to do things and be productive and get stuff done. So I think that's a major mental switch that I had to do. Nick had owned his own businesses for a while, so he kind of already understood that, but that was a big switch in my mind that I feel lazy, but I know I've a ton of stuff in the garden I want to get done, and it will be so much more satisfying when I get that done to relax later than if I just relaxed all day and was lazy all day. So, yeah.
Well said.
Something I learned.
Definitely. Okay, now we're going to do something fun. Now we're gonna do the speed round. So we each came up with 3 questions to ask each other, and we don't know what they are. So well, it looks like you're ready. Let me have it.
Okay.
What do you got?
So the first question for you is, what's one project you would have done differently?
I would have built a small shed or garage of some sort to have on the property to take care of storage, and possibly a small winter workspace.
So like right away when we moved here, you would have done that?
First summer, yeah.
Focus
Before
on-
winter, because we're in northern Wisconsin, that gives you 4 to 6 months a year where you're in a 450 square foot house or you're cold.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Next question.
Okay. What do you love most about our new lifestyle?
The feeling of being self-reliant, and the feeling at the end of the day of a job well done too.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a job well done, even if you screwed something up and it went bad, you learned something, and it's maybe a better way to say it would be the feeling of doing the best you can, and letting the cards fall where they may from there, and knowing that tomorrow's a new day. Next question.
One piece of advice you'd give to someone or a couple wanting to make this move?
This is probably a pretty common one, but be debt free. Be debt free, and if you can, have at least twice as much as you think you're going to need to build out a property and do all the stuff you want to do, any improvements. Things are going to go wrong, things will break. You've got to have contingencies. It's quite frankly a financial situation I wish that we had our heads a little more around, but we've got a plan to fix that, and this property is actually part of that plan. So we'll get more into that on maybe some future videos, but that would be my advice. Be debt free.
What was the most eye-opening or aha moment that you had since we've been here?
Most eye-opening or aha moment since we've been here? I'd say probably, well, two things, and they're both utility related. The day we got the solar panels hooked up, and that was on Mary's birthday last year in August, and the day that we got plumbing to the house, which was to a temporary sink on the porch at the time, through a garden hose through the driveway, over the driveway. So, and I say those two because they were vindicating. Designing, ordering, installing the solar system was one of the biggest projects I've probably had to, take on, I guess, and from start to finish, and not knowing anything about it going into it. Especially. So those are my answers. Is that it?
That was the last
Okay.
one,
Okay, my turn. Okay, we kind of answered my first one already. Let's see. Okay, favorite thing about our property?
Ooh. The favorite thing about our property is the river. I love to go down there because you can just take yourself out of whatever's happening up here, kind of relax, create a new mindset, come back and restart. It's super relaxing.
Good answer. Okay, next question. When did you decide to do something like this?
I decided to do something like this a while ago. Like 5 or 6 years ago, I knew I wanted to live something to this aspect. I didn't have all the details figured out. My friends and I had a bunch of different ideas of how we wanted to live, and I don't know. It's been a dream of mine for a number of years. I guess I'm going to turn that one around and say, how long have you known you wanted to live like this for?
2020. Since March of 2020. Pretty definitive. Okay, where are we going next? I mean, like, when we outgrow this property and it's time to move on, where are we going next?
I think we would want to stay in Wisconsin, but I would want to be closer to family. So someplace in between Nick's parents and my parents, because I really want grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles to be involved in our children's lives.
Good answer, once again. So that concludes the speed round. Last but not least, I just want to talk about and then roll some footage about the property that is adjacent to us, which is to our west. So a little bit of background. When we bought this property, it was actually one big chunk. So ours is almost 9 acres and his is about 33. When we bought this property, that was actually owned by a local Amish farmer who is farming MOSA certified organic hay on it. And we were under the impression that that was going to continue. Like things happen in the world, that changed, and somebody bought it the same year that we bought this. So for 2 summers now, he's been farming conventional corn on it, and for the 2nd year in a row now, the sprayer truck has come down the road and sprayed the field with, last year it was atrazine, and I'm suspecting the same this year. Whatever it was, it's a weed killer, whatever, and so we're gonna roll the footage of that. It's really disturbing and just challenging for us. We know we have no say, legal right, moral right. I would say we have some kind of a right, but over that land, and we get that. But it's just really disconcerting to see when we work so hard to keep things organic here. We buy organic grain, we feed everything organic that we can, we keep things organic, we use organic practices, which are harder, they take more work, they take more money, they take more time. And to see that happening right next to us is really, really heartbreaking. On top of the fact that he actually lives about a couple miles as the crow flies. So he kind of comes here, sprays his stuff on us, and then goes home. And I let him know that we weren't happy about it. And I guess one of the main purpose of us wanting to show this is just, if other people are having this struggle, know that you're not alone. And if you have concerns with property owners next to yours spraying things, God knows what on you that affects your property, make your concerns known. You can do it in a respectful way, but at the end of the day, it comes down to education. These conventional farming types, if you want to, whatever you want to call them, they just don't know a lot of the time, because it's just the way that it's been done for 2 or 3 generations now, and it's about education. We need to educate them on what this stuff does to humans, animals, and the environment. It's not good. So we're gonna roll that footage. Honey, is there anything you want to add to that?
I think you said it pretty well, or pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be on good terms with all of our neighbors, but when something like this is happening so close to our property and so close to like our hearts, mainly, like put so much into the property and being organic, like just doing things in a natural way, mostly, and that is not doing things in a natural way. And you'll see in the footage the plume of dust and spray coming up behind the tractor and the sprayer, and on that particular day it was hot and muggy, and it was a slightly like a westward wind, so the wind was coming back towards our property, and that means it was coming back over all of our stuff, and the sprayer companies, I don't know if they choose specific days to make sure it doesn't go on other people's property. I don't think so. And I mean, at that point, he's spraying our property, and that is not okay. So we have issues with that. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about it. Just disheartened, mainly.
Yep. So we're trying to stay as positive as we can. Hopefully, in the next year, educate him, and hopefully things will change. That's what we're hoping for. So we're gonna roll that, and then we're gonna roll some bloopers and or some kitty footage or something to end things on a high note, because this is a happy place and a positive place, and that's what we do. So On that note, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like. Comment below if you have any other questions for us. We'd love to know what to shoot. We're doing all kinds of stuff out here. We shoot what we think is cool, but we don't really know. So if there's something you want to see, please enlighten us. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye!
Well, here we are on our off-grid organic homestead, and we've got our neighbor who's farming conventional corn next door and spraying God knows what on our fields. Not our fields, his field. I don't know if you can see the haze of freaking chemical out there, but that's all going to be. But our business, that field that he's spraying right now is formerly MOSA certified organic hayfield. This is the second year he's owned it. It just really sucks to watch this. We work so hard to keep things clean and organic, and anyway, we work so hard to keep things organic. We pay more for feed, seed, etc., etc. The money's insignificant, but it's the principle of the thing. Look at that. This is conventional farming, folks. This is normal. Look at that haze behind him. It's raping the earth. If that doesn't make you sick, you gotta wake up. Come.
Come here, kitties.
Alright. Seems like rain clouds coming here.
Come here, kitties.
Probably not be out here.
Come here.
Sorry, sweetie.
Come here, kitties.
Alright, grab what you can, and then I don't want to pick up some of this and